As you know, I'm Kainton the Tech Pro, and in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to set up MongoDB in your system, create a database, create a collection, insert a document into the collection, and I'm also going to teach you how to set up the GUI application called Studio 3D so that you use the GUI to manage your databases easily. I'm going to do this step by step. As you can see my website right here, we have all the steps provided for you. In case you miss out something, you can always go to check the step by step right here in my website. You can find it there in the description box below. In case you don't know, MongoDB is a NoSQL database. A NoSQL database is a database that supports both unstructured data and structured data. Structured data is what you already know, storing data in rows and columns in tables like MySQL, MS SQL, or PostgreSQL. Whereas unstructured data is every other document or data format. We have images, we have text, we have XML, we have JSON, we have BSON. Every other data format out there is unstructured data. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database that supports storing both structured and unstructured data. And this is the direction the industry is moving. Actually, in a few years, most likely NoSQL is going to replace the structured data storage which we currently use right now. NoSQL means not only SQL, right? So let's go ahead to get started. And also, if you are joining for the first time, please hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any update from me. And if you have any challenges following any of my lessons, please let me know in the comment box below. And the next series of videos or lessons I'm going to be making, I'm going to teach you how to create an application in Spring and let this application store data in MongoDB and be able to access data from Spring application in MongoDB. So let's go ahead to get started right now. The first step says download, install, and start Mongo. So I'm going to go to this link and then I'm going to download MongoDB from this link. So there in my website, you can see the link. You just click on it. It takes you to this place. From here, you can choose your operating system. For me, it's Windows 64-bit. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click on download. So the download is an MSI and you can see it starts downloading immediately. So we are going to wait for a few seconds or few minutes for it to complete. So the download completed successfully, you can see. So I can actually go to my download folder, but I'll just click on it from here so that I can run it immediately. So it's an installer, so it's an MSI installer for Windows, and I'm going to click on next. Now you need to pay attention to the installation procedure. I'm going to accept the license and also go next. I'm going to choose complete. Now at this point, you need to make sure this checkbox is checked. Install MongoDB. MongoDB as a service. It's actually called MongoDB. And also make sure you have the service name MongoDB and leave everything the way it is and just go next. So now we have this install Mongo compass. Just uncheck it. We are going to be talking about the GUI a little later. So I'm going to go next, install. So the installation starts as you can see. So let's wait for a few seconds or minutes and let the installation complete. Then we be able to continue from there. So now you can see that the installation completed successfully. So I'm going to click on finish. I would like us to just kind of go to the installation directory for MongoDB. So I'm going to just go to Explorer. To be in my drive C program files, and you can see MongoDB is right here. MongoDB, you can see. So we have server, we have 4.2, we have. So you need to take note of this place because we are going to actually use this directory to start MongoDB. So let's go to check what the instruction says. So the next instruction says to run MongoDB, we need to open our command prompt as administrator. So I'm going to just go to command prompt and I'm going to right click and say run as administrator. I'm going to say yes and it opens in my other screen. So this is the window, or this is the command prompt at this point. So what we need to do, we actually need to navigate. We actually need to navigate to the bin directory of MongoDB. I've not actually added the bin directory to the path, but let's just do it manually this way. So I'm going to navigate to this place. So I'm going to just copy this and go and do cd to this directory. Okay, cd to this directory, right? So it says open command prompt, navigate to MongoDB bin directory, and then run the following command. Now, to run the command, you simply say mongod.exe. Now you need to specify the directory for the data file. So it's going to be dash dash, and then in quotes you specify the directory of the data file. So I'm going to go to MongoDB installation path again, and this is the data directory. I'm going to just click on it and go to my address bar and copy the directory. I'm going to copy the directory here, the directory to the data where it's going to store the database, and I'm simply going to paste it right here. Okay, so but before you paste it, you need to say dash dash db path. Okay, that's a mistake I made. So you say dash dash db path and then specify the database path where it's going to actually store the data files, and press enter. And at this point you can see that MongoDB, for some reason it did not run. So let me explain to you what is happening. We need to go to services and actually stop MongoDB that started running as a Windows service. So we are going to go to MongoDB in services. We are going to stop it so that we actually will manually start it. So I'm going to come here, right click, and just say stop, because this can be a problem for many newbies. So at this point, if I go back to execute the command again, it's going to actually start MongoDB, and you can see listening on port 127.0.0.1, waiting for connection on port 27017. Okay. All right, so now we are going to minimize the server because the server is running. That is what we have here. Next, open the bin directory and run the mongo.exe file. So let's go back to the bin directory of MongoDB installation. Now you need to know how to do this. Actually, later on we are going to use a GUI application to make it easy. But for now, know how to do it. We are going to go to the bin directory and then start the client's application. So the client application is this mongo.exe file right here. So just double click on it to start. Alright, so it starts up. As you can see, the MongoDB client actually started up, and now we are able to create database. We should be able to create collection and document. As I mentioned before, a collection in MongoDB is equivalent to a table in normal relational database management system, and a record is the same as a document in MongoDB. All right, so let's see. Now we are talking about creating a database. There are a whole lot of instructions right here. So let's do it the hard way using the command line, and later on we are going to install the GUI and also do it from there. So the first thing I'd like to do is to view the databases in the system. Use show DBS, and this is going to show you the databases in the system. Maybe I'm going to increase the font a little more to 24. All right, so show DBS shows us 3 databases available in the system: admin, config, and local. Although there is another database also called test. So I can actually say use test. There's a database called test, but for some reason it doesn't show it. And I can say show collection, like show collection is the same as show tables. So we have, there is no collections in there. Okay. So now I'm going to creating a document using the test database. So I'm going to say use test. So we have the test database, and I'm going to create a collection or a table called students. So to create a table called student, you use this this statement right here. Let me see. Yeah, I pasted it correctly, and I'm simply going to execute it. So you can see it says right result inserted 1. So now to update, you can also have the command to update the record. You have a command to query the record. The table you have to remove and stuff like that. And also you have db.students.drop. Okay. So I actually don't like working here in the command prompt. So let's just go to download the GUI, and then we can use the GUI. So the GUI is called Studio 3D. So I'm going to download it and then install it. So let me go to this link right here, and let's download the GUI application. So there is a download section. So Studio 3D, for me, I'm using Windows, so I'm going to click on download for Windows. So the download also starts, as you can see, it's about 237 megabytes. So let's wait for a few seconds. So the download completed successfully, and I'm going to go to the folder where the download is. So you can see I actually downloaded it twice because we have it Studio 3D. So I'm going to unzip. I will unzip this into this folder. If I open, you can see Studio 3D right here. So I'm going to start installing it by double clicking, and so you need to pay attention to the installation because there is something I need to explain to you. I'm going next. So now we actually would like to install it in a directory that doesn't have any space. So I'm going to install it in my drive D. Sorry, just Control C. So let me copy this address to the clipboard. So I'm going to browse to my drive D, and in my drive D, I'm going to create a folder called program files with no space. So I'm going to just select it. So we have program files in my drive D, and we have Studio 3D. That is where I'm going to install it. So I'm simply going to click on next. So the installation takes a few seconds. So let's just wait for it to install. So now you can see that the installation completed successfully for Studio 3D. That is a GUI application for MongoDB. So I'm going to teach you two things. One, how to create a database, create a collection, and create a document, more like creating a database table and insert records. Then I'm also going to show you how to import file, an Excel file or a CSV file into our MongoDB database. So I'm going to click on finish at this point. So, but the main thing I'm going to teach you is how to create a Spring application that is going to be using MongoDB as a data storage, for data storage. All right, so there is a GUI for Studio 3D. It opens up like this. So let me just show you how to create a database. So I'm going to also show you how to import data from your system. So to create a database, the first thing you want to do is to create a connection. So click on this create a connection right here, and you need to give your connection a name. So let's call it my connection. So that's the name of the connection, and you see you need to also test the connection. If you click on test, you see everything is okay and it's connected, and just say okay and go ahead to save. Now, I also created this con. I'm going to just delete it. So we have my connection we created, and I'm going to just click on it and say connect. The reason is because before you create any database or collections or documents inserted, you need a connection. So we've created this connection. And at this point, if you go to connect at the upper left corner, you can just click on my connection, and you can now see all the databases in the system. You have admin, you have config, you have local, and you have test. Now this test, you can see under collections, we have students, right? So under students, we have, I'm going to just double click on it. So once you double click on it, it opens up right here, okay? So, but let's not get into this. Let me just show you how to create a database from the scratch and insert records into it. So what you can do is right click on this place and just say add database. Let's call this database DemoDB. Okay, DemoDB I'm creating, and now it appears as one of the nodes right here. So to create a table, as it were, but we don't use table when we talk about NoSQL, we say collection. Create a collection, you can right click and just say add collection. You can see add collection, or you can also expand it and go to collection and say add collection. And let's add a collection called students. Students. Or let's say teachers, because we've seen students before. So let's say teachers. All right, so we have teachers. That is a collection we've created, more like a table with nothing inside. You see, so we have this ID. It gives it an ID. So what we are going to now do is to create a document. A document is simply a way to insert a record into this table. How do we insert a record into the teachers table? So simply right click on it. This place you can see a number of icons, very small. I don't know why they made it so small. So you can see show update, you can see this. Now you have this icon, the little icon here says add document. Basically, I'm going to add a student with first name, last name, and address, or first name, last name, and department. So to do that, simply say name, so let's say first name, the first name, let's say kind son, comma, last name, Monoye, and department. So basically, I'm adding a JSON structured document, but that does not mean you cannot add any other document, any other format. We are going to be talking about this a little more later. Computer science. Okay, so now one thing you can do is to click on the validate JSON, and if you click on it, it tells you whether the structure of your document is okay. I can say add and continue, and we have a document added, right? So I can actually add another student. Maybe this student this time may have additional field called, let's say, age, and the age is let's say 23. Okay, so I'm going to validate again, and it's valid, and let's say a different student this time. And you can see one thing about NoSQL is that you are not restricted to the number of rows or the number of fields in the table. So I'm going to just add. So in this case, the first student has an age while the other student does not have. Another student may have other fields included in the record or in the document. Okay, so this is how to play around. So try to get some manual online, play around, try to create a database, add collections into it. Let me now show you how to import data. I have an Excel sheet in my system. I saved as a CSV. So basically, you can import anything SQL database CSV, but this time let's import a CSV from my system. So click on OK and just click on Import from CSV file. When you click on Import from CSV file, just click on this folder icon right here. And in my system, in my drive D, I have some data sets. And let me choose one of these data sets like auto2.csv and say open. So you can see this data set is imported, and if you click on execute, it's going to add it as a collection, right? A collection is a table, I told you. A collection is equivalent to a table. They are two different things. So if I click on execute, it's going to add it to the collection. So if I refresh, okay, so we actually have these target options. You have DemoDB and is importing it into teachers, right? So it's actually adding it, appending it to teachers, but I can change the target collection to be vehicles, and I hope it's going to now create a new collection called vehicles, as you can see right here. So please play around with this, and this is really going to be interesting. Then I'm going to now build a Spring application where I'm going to save my data in MongoDB, and then I'm going to access the MongoDB data from the web page, from the repository, and that's going to be fun. I would like to recommend you subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. This is just the beginning. It's going to get really more interesting as we move on.